James Duthie alongside Mike Johnson, Jeff O'Neill, and Darren Dreger. Canada has just finished its game day skate before the showdown we've been waiting for a lot of years against the Americans tonight in Montreal. Most importantly, Cale Makar was on the ice for Canada. How did you think he looked?
I don't think it matters how he looked. It's a morning skate.
He was a little cautious out there, but who cares?
I don't even know what that means. They were just like doing flow drills. He was out there. That's all that really matters. The fact that he was out there is all you need to know. He's clearly not at 100%, but I think for this game, they will need him. He will have to play well with Theodore's injury, with the opponent that's coming in. It is so important that Cale Makar is able to play at whatever level he's feeling physically, but I think the fact that he was out here this morning tells me he's playing.
Yeah, the fact that he came to this building and put his gear on and was in the locker room with all the players, it would not shock me. He played 28 minutes his first game. It wouldn't shock me if it's more tonight with Theodore.
If it's close,
yeah,
for sure.
Even
and
more.
Nathan McKinnon said he was sick the first game as well.
Yeah, and Nathan McKinnon also said him at 80% is better than all of the other defensemen in the tournament.
Like Cooper said 60%.
Yeah,
too.
and that's accurate. It wouldn't surprise me if he was the best player on the ice tonight because they're going to need their best from their best players. We talked about the depth of the USA team. Those individual superstars like the McKinnons, Crosbys, and Makar in the back end, they're going to have to be dynamite tonight.
But for Canada, like he is their star in the back end.
Yeah.
Up front, there's a lot of different guys you could turn to and say, okay, we need something more to him, but if it's not you, we can get it from you. In defense, it's got to be Makar. He's got to be a difference maker in the game.
The fascinating sidebar to all of this is Thomas Harley. Remember, Canada was allowed to bring in an extra defenseman in case Makar couldn't play after the injury to Theodore, but he was not allowed to take the game day skate unless Makar was ruled out. And so we had Thomas Harley in full uniform just behind the door kind of watching the skate. And
6 feet from the ice, but not allowed on it.
Yeah, so how is this all working with the NHLPA and the NHL and the regulations?
Or do they know?
Oh, they know. And I would describe it as an annoyance. And it's more much ado about nothing for all of us and for the general hockey fan. But there are technical restrictions that have been agreed to by the Players Association and the National Hockey League. And one of those is if you go down 2 players, then they made the rule change to allow Thomas Harley to come in. And that was with the question of Cale Makar's health. So Cale Makar takes the morning skate. Thomas Harley wasn't supposed to step on the ice with the team, even though it was kind of nice, right? He goes out there for the stretch at the end, but he stayed out there and shot pucks and did some things.
So that broke the rules technically?
It broke the spirit of the rule. And I think that the annoyance stretches from the league, the Players Association, and to the 3 other countries that are trying to abide by the rules, but I don't think it goes further than that.
I don't think anyone could convince me in any way, shape, or form that this will impact anything of anyone, which is why it's crazy that it's become a
No
situation.
forfeiture? You don't believe there will be a forfeiture of the game?
Finland
There'll
going
be
to
some
protest
complaining.
him stepping out there to lead a stretch? Like, come on.
Yeah, it does get a little bit silly. What do you expect from Canada?
I expect a coach to be looking at his lines and be quick on the trigger if something doesn't work out well. You're talking about line mates of Connor McDavid. If things aren't going well in any big game I've ever been a part of, Stanley Cup playoffs, Stanley Cup finals, if you're not into it and you look like you're not a part of it, there'll be a mix-up from John Cooper as far as the forward lines if he's not liking what he's seeing as far as the 5-on-5 play. Once again, we talked about the depth of the USA. There's no time or space for anybody on the Canadian roster not to be kind of present and at their best from the start of the hockey game.
I think Canada's going to try to be quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
You watch the last 2 days of practice, quick ups, activating defensemen, fast puck movement. They don't want to try to get into a physical contest with the U.S. Not that they can't, but I don't think that's their path to win, to play their best game. Try to be more physical, more emotional, more intense. They want to play what they're best at, which is moving the puck, moving themselves quickly, attacking, being creative. If they're doing that, then they'll be playing well.
Yeah, I mean, going into the event, Canada's power play, we talked a lot about the penalty kill, special teams in general. I mean, that could be a big part, should be a big part of the outcome of tonight's game. But the matchup game is going to be fascinating. Do you go power on power? The McDavid line, up against Jack Hughes and Austin Matthews. And you bring Sam Bennett into the equation. So how is he going to factor in the head-to-head battle with his teammate Matthew Tkachuk, the Tkachuk line? So I think we're going to see all kinds of variations here.
Dealing with those two is going to be fascinating because they said they want to be under control. Discipline is so important. You don't want to do anything stupid. But would you be surprised if they were involved in a line brawl in the first 10 minutes of this hockey game?
A line brawl?
Anything.
I'd be surprised.
Anything. It's just, but how Canada deals with those two is going to be fascinating as well, because you can't out-Kachuk the Kachucks. You don't want to be punching in the face
No.
and dealing with them. So it's just speed, quickness, and just try to avoid them, I guess, at all times.
Sam Bennett might want to get in the Kachuckiness of the entire situation. I
Yes.
think, look for him. He understands he's playing this game not just to be physical.
No.
And he understands he doesn't want to take a bad penalty and put his team at risk.
He can
But
also hurt somebody.
knows that he can be a difference maker with the
Yeah.
way he plays that way. And so I would look for him early when he's out there. If the opportunity presents itself against any American player, he will finish that check and he will take it through hard and high and however he wants to.
You guys realize we've used Kachuk as a noun, I think
Oh,
a
yeah.
verb.
Sure.
You can't out-Kachuk, an adjective.
Could be some
Creative license.
chuckiness
That's
to
how
this
good
one.
of players they are, James.
And the other big thing that we've been talking about for years here, and this is on display, the concern about Canadian goaltending. And here you have Connor Hellebuck, who's the best goalie in the world right now, against Jordan Binnington. And Binnington, again, gets the start. And when we asked John Cooper, was there a decision that went into that? He just said, watch overtime. And when the kid came up and gave them a chance to win. But that's the perceived mismatch in this game. The other thing, look, a lot of Canadians have played in Game 7s. Crosby and Doughty have been in multiple gold medal games, but there's still a lot of Canadian players that have never been on a stage like this. I asked Travis Sanheim, who's coming in on D, if what's the biggest game he's played before this in his life. And he said, well, World Championship game against Finland a couple years ago. Our goalie got hurt, and we had to bring in some guy who was playing in Russia. That is not this.
No.
These are the best players in the world, head-to-head, and John Cooper sort of did a mic drop as he walked off the stage.
Yeah.
Biggest hockey game in the last 10 years, and we can't wait for it.